Guys, gals, pals, welcome to Paint and Talk episode 200. I'll hold here for applause. Alright, that should be enough of that. As is tradition on Paint and Talk, I guess now tradition, because this is the second time I'm ever doing it, every 100 episodes, I like to do just a whole bunch of meta talk. I like to just completely and utterly talk about Paint and Talk about how I'm feeling with the series. I do this for two reasons. One is because I say that I don't just say this, I do feel this. I want to make these episodes, these milestone episodes, really for people who are watching Paint and Talk a good amount. You know what I mean? Like I want the conversation to be geared more towards you, because these episodes, I think, should be celebrating that, not, just trying to be like, Paint and Talk episode 200, everybody click, because it's an important episode. I think it could easily turn into that. And that's kind of the second reason I want to do it, is because I think very easily, when looking at something like big milestones, it could very quickly turn into like, I'm going to try and make the best painting ever and have the most interesting discussion ever. And I would be here all day trying to record an episode that satisfies that, right? I want to make these more personal. I think I already went over this in the first one, but it's been 100 episodes since then. So, can't blame me for reviewing, can you? I think that overall, it is like actually surreal to be recording this. Jokes aside, like it's very insane. I just like, I talk a good amount. I feel like it's actually kind of weird how much I end up talking about, like how big numbers boggle my mind. I always say people should do things that have big numbers involved, because it shows you just like the impossibility of what you can do. Because, I can't imagine Paint and Talk episode 300, but I couldn't imagine episode 200, and I couldn't imagine episode 100 when I started. And like, honestly, the only way I've gotten here is through just the consistency of like, I record around the same time. I have like I have a set thing I do, and I think it just goes to prove, you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems, had some terrible episodes in these last 100 episodes, but overall, I am just kind of like, wow, I can't believe that this is happening. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm giving a speech. I'm not at the Grammys, but it is crazy. I think that's something to, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Like, how do you, as people watching this, seeing that like, this is just me, very clearly a guy just like doing this, being like, I'm going to record every day. Are you ever like, no way, are you like surprised that like, it's still going? Like, I don't know, because I feel like whenever I've encountered creators who do things daily, they always let me down within the first 2 weeks. That's actually one of the things that kept me going early on in the series. Because so many people they're like, I'm uploading daily, I'm on this new thing, and then within a week, they're gone. And I was like, I can't be that guy. But I don't know, do you guys also have that feeling, or is it just kind of like, YouTube guy uploaded again? Probably the latter, right? Probably the latter. But in the first one of these, I talked about the algorithm. I talked about how there was kind of, in the first 100 episodes, a struggle of learning about the algorithm. And that's kind of what I want to do again today, not about the algorithm, but talk about another struggle that I've been having with Paint and Talk. Something I've been struggling to do. I don't know. I suppose it's more like a struggle of authenticity. I guess it's almost a question, legitimately, for you guys. That I've come across, right? Because, like, the first 100 episodes of this, and I think this goes for anything, when you're doing it early on, it's easier than when you get into it, right? Like, it's easier to, and in heavy air quotes here, like, fake it, right? You can, for the first 100 episodes, I think you guys probably tell I'm a little bit less natural on camera, the topics are a little bit more planned out, stuff like that. But at a certain point, once you get, once you're really, like, after 100 episodes, what you got to do, I feel like, for me at least, this is what I experienced, is just fully be like, I'm going to just go and talk about whatever, right? I mean, you guys have seen some really abstract and weird topics, right? And I think that's good, actually. I think that's a good thing. I think it's kind of a test almost, because there's no way I could come here and actually well format a discussion every single day. You know what I mean? Like, some days it's going to just be my authentic self. Most days it is now my authentic self. And that's how that's going to go. I think that makes sense, right? What you've been seeing more recently is literally just like the exact conversation I would have with some friends. You know what I mean? It's very much like, this is just me. It's, what am I thinking about right now? Yeah, let's go talk about that. Some days I somewhat self-servingly use it as almost just like a journal, sort out some of my own thoughts. But that's what you guys have been getting. And with that, though, there's certain topics I try and avoid on the show, namely politics, right? And I've found myself actually a couple times now completely talking around subjects that I'm actually very interested in discussing, but I don't want to alienate. This is one of my big things, right? I do, at the end of the day, want Paint and Talk to be something that anybody could come here and watch, and I don't want it to ever be like something that's like, I feel like nowadays it's either somebody who doesn't really have much of a perspective talking about everything on Earth, or somebody with a ton of perspective talking about a very specific subject. And what I aim to do on a level with this show is come and talk not with a very well-defined perspective or with any sort of formal education, but just give lightly thought-provoking conversations about subjects that aren't the end of the world, right? They can be interesting, they can be fun, quite literally just the vibe of a deep talk with a friend, right? That's what I'm aiming for. I hope I've done that. But with that, right, we obviously talk about philosophy a fair bit on the show, and to skirt around politics altogether has felt a little weird sometimes, because genuinely, just like honestly put, that's a part of philosophy, right? When we're talking about a subject that has to do with like progress, it's hard to not have it at least be implicitly political in some ways. Maybe this is just me being way too politically brained and has led to me like, not really having much of a, like maybe nobody else is seeing this and it's like I just can talk about philosophy and it doesn't seem weird, but sometimes it feels like I am filtering myself, and I either need to A, skirt around those topics, which is going to be really hard to do because I am just coming here every day and talking to you all, and I want it to be as raw and authentic as possible. So when I'm thinking about progress, I want to talk about progress, right? So I either have to skirt around those topics that are going to lend themselves to a conversation like that, or I need to just be like, you know what, let's put it all out there, let's just talk about politics fully. I would never, with that being said, I would never want to be a political show. I think just more so what I'm speaking on is having a little bit more of my opinion actually be known within what I'm saying. And I don't know how I feel about that 100%. That's where I want your guys' thoughts, That's where I want the thoughts of you guys that are watching this consistently. Maybe, there's a chance. I've had people DM me about this before, where they're like everybody knows what you think already. Like everybody kind of knows the side you're on. Maybe that's how you guys feel. I don't know. The one thing I will say is this, in no reality would ever become like a political thing. Like I would never be like, okay guys, today we're going to discuss, labor as a commodity and just come here and do that. That's not at all what I'm talking about. I mean, when we're discussing a topic that lends itself towards delving into a little bit of that territory, I'm not going to shy away from it as much. And maybe you'll know my thoughts on some current events going on. Why? So, obviously though, on the other side of this, there is the argument too of like, okay, do you need to do this? Like, as much as, it's more authentic if I do, it's like, I do see the side of this that's like, you don't need to get into all this. Like, you can totally just avoid this and carry on, and maybe you'll have an awkward episode or two, but, you don't want to just, it's still probably a better idea to not do that. And I do feel that way generally. Like, there is a consensus on the internet almost that the safest way to exist is to never share your actual thoughts on anything ever. In terms of, like, politics, right? The second you share a thought, good, bad, ugly, pretty, no matter what, you are beholden to everything. It's like terrible, right? I mean, that's why celebrities do it. There's so many celebrities who you don't know their thoughts on anything. They've never spoken out for anybody in their lives, and they're the most loved people because they, you know, when you stand for nothing, it's like nobody, you know, when you stand for something lightly, people come at you for not standing on it enough. When you stand for nothing, people don't notice, so they don't even address you. And that's what's so interesting to me, and that's why I'm a little scared to do it, on the one hand. The other thing I'm thinking about here, though, too, is I do feel, you know, right now this is a little bit of a strong way to put it, but I'm essentially limiting my speech in efforts to make this show have a broader appeal, right? That's a heavy way to put it. I'm not thinking in terms of like, oh man, you know, advertisers would hate if I got political. That's not at all what I'm thinking about, right? But in terms of like, that's what I'm doing at its core. I think there's also a slippery slope to be found there, though, of like, if I'm willing to compromise on this ostensibly big part of, you know, we talk about art, we talk about culture, we talk about philosophy, I'm missing a big pillar there, right? And by not having my perspective known, sometimes I feel like almost I'm hiding a little bit behind that pillar. And I don't like that. I don't love that at all. I will say I am as open as in politics as I am in philosophy. Like, I'm not somebody who, like, I'll speak to anybody of any opinion. I'm not one of those people that's like if you're watching this and you're like, oh my god, this guy's about to get political and I disagree with him on literally everything, you don't need to worry. I'm not one to like, but that's also my worry, is like, I don't want to alienate, but I'm worried if I give up this piece of authenticity for, you know, to make the show have a broader appeal, if I give up this piece of authenticity here, what does this look like 2 years from now? Like, there's the argument where it looks the same and things can continue in this direction, but if I'm willing to give up this piece of my own speech and my own thoughts in an effort to make things more brandable, more authentic, when I'm sitting a year from now, 2 years from now, what else did I give up? Like, I almost feel like I need to be all or nothing and either just say every little thing I think and do it unapologetically, or none of it at all, you know? And that's a tough decision, because both these things are the only ways to go. And that's what I've realized is wrong about my approach right now, in terms of just like longevity, thinking ahead. I don't want to become inauthentic, so it's either going to be all or nothing, because it'd be a lie to do anything else. And that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm worried that, you know, what if in 2 years I stop talking about certain philosophers because people don't like those either then? You know what I mean? Like anything can alienate somebody. When I do tomorrow's episode and I discuss, what am I discussing tomorrow? I think I wrote a note of what I want to talk about already. I'm discussing a little bit of, like, Aristotle's kind of going to be in it tomorrow, right? I'm thinking about Aristotle a little bit, right? Some people might have never read Aristotle, and I'm going to do a little brief introduction at the front of it, right? But that's still a relatively alienating thing. What if you don't like Aristotle? Then you're very alienated by this discussion that's going to happen tomorrow. So why am I skirting around this other thing out of the fear it's going to be alienating? I don't know. So I don't know, guys. This is why I wanted to come here and discuss this for this episode, because I'm worried that me being authentically myself will alienate viewers, but I'm also worried that me not being 100% myself will end up with this becoming a less of what I want it to be down the road. What do you guys think? And don't worry, I'll never be doing an episode that's like my thoughts on the Trump admin. I'm not doing that. I would never do something like that. I just think, not even because I don't have thoughts, and I'm sure if I were to go down this road of openly discussing all my thoughts and everything, those would 100% come out. You guys would very well know them. I just think it's lame to be like, my review. Like, I don't know, I think that's stupid. I think that I respect what some people do in the commentary sphere of, like, giving their, like, you know, keeping people informed and, like, you know, I'm gonna help you digest the news. I think that's actually valuable, both on all sides, because I think there's way too much noise, and I actually think it's very suitable to be in an ecosystem where you can go, okay, let me go to Ben Shapiro and have him filter all the right-wing perspectives and feed them to me of what he wants me to hear, and then go to somebody on the left and do the exact same thing. I think that's a very useful thing. So I do have respect for that type of content, but like, I just hate the type of content that's like, here are my theories for the Republican Party. What are you doing? Like, I don't care. Like, you're a guy. It's not, unless you're digesting information and just like citing sources and giving it to me, that's cool. I just don't care when some random guy is like, here's my theory. And so I would never touch anything like that. But, you know, it might be important for me to give thoughts on some things for some topics in order to have them still be as authentic as I want them to be. So that's what's at the heart of this, guys. I don't know. I feel like maybe this is more of a simple question. I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm too politically brained and I'm just getting in my own head about it. But these episodes, every 100, are supposed to be about that. The things that are like, this is really just what I'm thinking about this show. You guys that are watching this show, let me know what you think about that. So that's what this was. Give me your comments down below on this topic. I need them more than ever today, guys. So, you know, Gilbo, if you want to comment more than one word today, you are more than welcome to. Yeah, outside of that, guys, thank you so much for 200 episodes. This is really crazy. I feel like I should have more to say about this, but honestly, like, I feel like it's like, you know, after 100 episodes, it was crazy because it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Now, though, it's like, I'm just ready to do the next one. And I feel like that's a weird shift in mindset. I feel like I should be more grateful. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I feel like I should be crying right now. But thank you so much. It's insane that you guys are still here watching these every day. Like, that genuinely is the insane part of it. That's the part I should be saying thank you for, is that, like, because I've had some terrible ones. I mean, you guys are putting up with a lot here. So thanks for that. But yeah, seriously, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Somebody commented once, like, I hope you never feel like you're screaming to the void. And that's the weirdest thing. I never felt like I have. Because this is the first thing I've ever done where if one person watches it, that one person will still connect to it somehow, you know? Obviously, it's no secret. A small number of people watch these, but 22 people that actually connect to what I'm saying is so much more powerful than 100,000 who clicked it because it's a good thumbnail. And I think that's what this series is all about. So, to 100 more of that. I'll see you guys next time. I won't bother shouting out the Instagram today. Until next time. Guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice. This has been Paint and Talk episode 200. I'm here every morning, painting and talking with you all.